Well, good Thursday evening, Arkansas. This is Chief Forecaster coming back here once again. I'm here to give you guys your evening forecast update before your 7-day forecast comes out this evening here. So, we don't have too much to talk about right now here. We do have a front boundary that I mentioned before. It's kind of pushing through the area right now here, but there's not a lot of cold air behind this front. I mean, this is going to be a couple of temperature degree drops, a wind shift from south to west-northwest. But it's not going to bring a significant amount of cold air like the last front did here. So we've got 70 degrees up there in Bentonville right now, 68 in Harrison, 72 in Fayetteville at this point, 77 degrees in Fort Smith. That is behind the front. That's what I mean. We don't have a lot of cold air to work with this front boundary, so don't expect too much of a drop in temperatures here. We're still at 81 degrees here in Little Rock, 77 degrees in El Dorado, 79 in Texarkana, and 77 over there in DeQueen, 79 degrees, in Jonesboro, and 77 degrees in West Memphis here. So, as I mentioned before, this front boundary is going to push through. By the way, did you guys notice that it rained last night? We had a surprise line of showers kind of move through. Wasn't much. I don't even think it got anything wet, but it was enough to kind of surprise a lot of us this morning here. But that quickly moved through and everything just dried back up here. So we still need a lot of rainfall here, and I'm hoping we get some additional rainfall coming up as we get towards the end of the month here. So let's go ahead and go over to our evening highlights for tonight. Biggest thing I want to stress is there is confidence growing in a big time cold front moving through as we get towards that Halloween time frame. So you're about 2 weeks. Well, yeah, I'd say a week and a half at this point away from Halloween. If you're planning on doing anything big for that time frame, or you're planning on doing something for that weekend, just kind of monitor the weather over the next week or so. We're seeing that in the long range, how there's a big cold front that's going to come through. They have some instability to work with. Like I mentioned before yesterday, details still need to be ironed out, but there is confidence growing in some sort of cold front moving through during that time frame. Same time, with that cold front, things are going to become more stormy across Arkansas. We're going to start getting rainfall chances coming back, and hopefully we start putting it into this drought before it gets even worse as we get towards late this month and early November, and warmer than normal temperatures in the short range, guys. So let's talk about one thing before I get into the burn bans and the drought conditions, stuff like that. We do have our winter outlook available on our Patreon, patreon.com/Arkansas Weather Watchers. If you want to go check that out, that's just for early access. Like I mentioned before, we're going to have this out for the public on November 1st. I've had a lot of people ask me over the last couple of days, what's our thoughts for the winter outlook? If you want to check that out with early access, go to patreon.com/Arkansas Weather Watchers. It's at $3.99 a month. But if you can't, we're going to have this out for everybody November 1st. If we don't kind of get our winter outlook out, at end of September or early October, we kind of wait a little bit, because October you get a lot more data in. You kind of get a better look on what we're heading into instead of trying to jump for the gun earlier on. So that's why we wait so long for the winter outlook here. So that is available if you want to check it out for early access on patreon.com/Arkansas Weather Watchers here. Now, let's go and talk to you guys about the burn bans. We now have Drew County down there in southeastern Arkansas that has been added. And I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to be straightforward. If we don't get a lot of rainfall over the next couple of weeks, you're going to have more areas under the burn ban. So keep that in mind. The vegetation is very, very dry right now. Regardless if you're in the burn ban or not, it is very dry outside. So if you're doing any bonfires or anything like that, make sure that it does not go unattended. I want to make that perfectly clear, guys, because I know those that are not in the burn ban, they're going to be like, okay, we can burn, it can be unattended, stuff like that, that's fine. No, it's not, because the vegetation is very dry right now here. So that's why more counties are kind of subtly getting added to the burn bans here. So if we don't get any rainfall anytime soon, this may become a widespread issue once again. Now, let's talk about that wildfire risk. And you guys notice down there in southeastern Arkansas, you have been upgraded to a high risk for that wildfire danger here. So, like I mentioned before, things are still dry. We need rainfall here in Arkansas. I know a lot of people are urging to do bonfires and stuff outside, but you gotta be careful. Even if you're not in the burn ban, you can still have something spark and it can become a wildfire. So keep that in mind. That's why we talk about this wildfire risk, because it's just as important as the burn bans across the area here. So let's talk about tonight. Like I mentioned before, even with a front of boundary moving through, temperatures are not going to drop off much. We have temperatures northwest Arkansas in the upper 40s, across the state 50s, and I cannot rule out maybe near central Arkansas or even in southeast Arkansas, there could be a 58, 59, 60 degree reading. Like I mentioned before, this is kind of a Pacific cold front moving through. Not really expecting a lot of cold air behind this front of boundary. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk to you guys about the extended outlook here. And this is kind of looking at the WPC here, and it should be pulling up in a second. I went to the Euro, but we'll go to WPC here just a little bit. So I'm going to take you guys out. This weekend is going to be great, by the way, so you don't have to worry about anything this weekend, but it is going to get gradually warmer this weekend, especially at Sunday evening and that Monday time frame. You're going to, the same front that just passed through today, it's going to come back as a warm front as we get towards that Sunday and that Monday time frame. So temperatures are going to climb back up. We're going to be above normal for a little bit, guys. And then what's going to end up happening is we get towards Tuesdays. You can see there's your warm front. Let's take this back all the way through. So there's Sunday and Monday. Warm front moves north. And then let's get to Tuesday. You see that rainfall start to develop out towards the west. That activity will move through. We'll start in the western counties Wednesday and Thursday, and it will overtake the state by the time we get towards late Thursday and into Friday of next week here. So keep that in mind. This would be some really beneficial rain if the European water verifying. Not really expecting a lot of severe weather with this, but obviously we are in our secondary severe weather season, so we're going to monitor this closely. But I'm not expecting a whole lot of severe weather with this. So this moves through. Next weekend looks decent right now. We'll have to keep an eye on what the timing is with that shortwave. And then I'm going to stop it here at 240 hours out. And this is how far the Euro will let me go. We're going to take a look at something here. It's going to be out towards the north and west here. Let me zoom this out. Give me just 1 second. Zoom this out to south central. And there's going to be a front boundary that's going to kind of be draped out here towards the Colorado region and into the central and southern plains. That cold front will move through as we get towards that Halloween time frame, because you're at the 29th right now, so you're about 2 days removed from Halloween. So that cold front, we can actually take a look at the moisture. Give me just a second. Let's take a look at dew points. And there's your area of low pressure, northwest Kansas. There's your cold front, there's your warm front. So that cold front will push through as we get towards that Monday and that Tuesday time frame for Halloween. So anyone with Halloween plans right now, monitor the weather over the next week and a half. I know a lot of people are going to have those plans. Just keep an eye on things here, okay? So let's take a look at the GFS. GFS has a completely different scenario here. As a matter of fact, I do believe what it wants to do now is it has that same front about 3 to 4 days in advance. So you would have to watch that Friday and that Saturday time frame. There's front boundary moving through. It stalls out, and then what ends up happening is there's a much stronger cold front that moves through. So there's two strong cold fronts with the GFS. Euro only kind of reserves it for that Halloween time frame, but the GFS kind of pushes this through. As you can see, by the time we get towards the 30th, there's your cold front moving through. Dew points in the upper 60s. You have to watch that for severe weather. And then that pushes through. And this is not temperatures, by the way. These are not temperatures. This is just dry air moving in. But I can see a potential frost or freeze being possible as we get towards the end of the month. There, you can see this is for Halloween. Temperatures in the 40s and 50s for highs. Overnight lows in the 20s and 30s. So that would be your first frost and freeze. That's kind of, to be honest with you, normal for this time of the year. Right around that Halloween, early November time frame here. So that's what we're going to keep an eye on, guys. Like I mentioned before, stormy air conditions are going to return. We can take a look at the WPC for just a little bit. And majority of the rain right now is off towards the west. I do think this will expand eastward as we get towards the next couple of days here. So that's all I got for you guys this evening. As I mentioned before, we're going to watch the end of the month time frame. If you have any Halloween plans, contact us. We'll keep you guys updated right in your source for all things Arkansas weather.